This is Urdizzle back with episode 5 of chapter 2 of my Zero to Hero series. And for this video, we are going to tackle our first A tier tournament. And I thought a fun one to try would be the Great Outdoor Fight, because it's one of the 4-rounders, and it'll really give me an opportunity to test my new bag that I've recently upgraded. I added a slot in episode 4, and we'll take a look at that. So again, 4 rounds. It's a mixture of some of the toughest courses in the game. And we're going to start off on Kehoe Park, but I want you to take a quick look at what I have in the bag for this video. So we've got the Accurate Windbreak Fuse, which is my putter, approach, throw-ins, all those. The Accurate Glide River, which I enjoy. I prefer an Accurate Windbreak River, but it works and serves its purpose. The Accurate Windbreak Explorer, and then a couple different ones here. The Windbreak Ballista, the Accurate Windbreak Musket. And then recently added to the bag was the Accurate Glide Pioneer. Again, I did spend $2,000, I believe, to upgrade the bag. And then the Ballista Pro with no attributes. So starting off on Kehoe Park, this is kind of a tricky par 4. And I've learned that if I want to play for birdie, I just play my Accurate Windbreak Musket forehand. I don't have any of the really good Ballista Pros, so I can't do any crazy lines through the trees. It's just you gotta kind of play for birdie in this particular one. So part of what I want you guys to see in this video is just how I use this bag, which is actually a pretty solid bag. Obviously, I'm missing some of the high-end discs that add consistency, but you can do reasonably well with these, what I'll call Challenge the Valley discs, without needing too much else. Again, just long-term, obviously, if you're going up against people, you're probably not going to do as well without some of the good discs, but you can still do reasonably well. Alright, so we're starting off a couple tricky holes. This is the Kaho hole 8, which I did a separate video on this one if you want to check out. I'll add that in the description below. So I use my Accurate Windbreak Explorer, and it's 99 out of 100. I mean, it's in there. Now, I don't birdie it that often because there is the occasional time where it does skip a little long, and if it's, say, for example, a headwind of 3, those can be a little tricky. And then this is also a kind of a tricky hole to eagle. Should be a pretty easy hole to birdie, being a par 5. But with a wind of 4, I was really concerned about going out of bounds. So again, if you've watched most of my videos, you know if it is a right to left wind, even with the tail there, I will throw forehand. And here there's no skip disc. So I'm sitting 508 feet out. Even with a 4 wind, I think I might be able to get there, but I've got to be wary that I don't want to leave myself in the sand trap and then have to throw in for birdie. And so this one here, it went way too far. And I kind of knew it was going to do that. That is absolutely the worst thing that I could do there, because now I have to make this putt. But luckily, and even that one I had to aim way right. It was in putting range. If that was a throw-in, I would have been really annoyed if I would have gotten a par out of that. So I was able to come out with birdie, but even with that 4 wind, I probably could have gotten eagle, or should have. All right, then we switch over to Grizzly. So again, this Great Outdoor, this is some very challenging courses, and we'll see which ones that pop up. These are random holes. So you will see, I believe the course record on this one is a -45. And you really have to play this course, or this tournament, I should say, a lot to really get those favorable par 4s. And there's no way I could do it with these discs. That's just not going to happen. But this, overall, I kind of like the setup of this, where you can't prepare for something. Obviously, if you're trying to record record runs, having different layouts kind of adds a little bit of inconsistency. But for me, I like the variety. It's almost like a true random layout, even though you know which courses it's going to pick from. So I'm really not making any mistakes here. There's not a lot of hard holes. So I think you'll see the repetition, and certain holes should be gimme birdies at this stage with this bag as you start to get used to it. Now, holes like this are a little harder because I don't have any skip discs to get up there, and so you have to kind of leave it short, and that was not a really good shot. That is actually probably the worst possible place you can be, because now I'm outside of putting range. I'm also kind of outside of throwing range, and I did do a reasonable shot to get it up there, but that, you're not making that one very often. Again, somebody will say, well, I did it one time and I can post a video. You can do it, but it's so difficult to try to birdie that one from 66 feet and up against the rock wall. All right, here I probably should have gone with the Pioneer, but I went with the Musket, just because that's the disc I normally use on this hole. Sometimes I'll throw a forehand roller, and sometimes I'll throw just a regular shot like I did right there. Usually with a backhand regular shot, I leave myself 70 to 90 feet. So it's not a gimme, especially in really strong winds. And then Owlwood. So again, these are 3 tricky courses. We had Kehoe Park, Grizzly, which Grizzly was the easiest of the 3. And then Owlwood, which can come back to bite you, especially without a high-end bag. This course can really, really, really eat you up. You have to be, I call it selective aggression. You have to decide when you really want to go at stuff. And even a hole like this, like hole 1 of Owlwood, like you got to be careful, because if you don't throw the right disc, you could end up out of bounds. So what I prefer, you'll notice when I throw this hole, I leave it short, and that was actually a pretty good skip. I prefer leaving this short because I aim lower, and when I aim lower, I know that I'm not going to go over the wall. So if for some reason the wind blows it to the right, I don't end up going out of bounds. So that was a pretty good round, 9s across the board. So I picked the Great Outdoor Fight as an A tier, partially because it's 4 rounds, but also partially because if I can throw these courses reasonably well, the AI players are not as strong on courses like Kehoe Park, on Coyote Canyon. So if you throw like a 7 under or 8 under on those courses only, now obviously this is a mix of different holes, but they don't do as well on those. And I kind of like that. Whereas if, for example, you play the Climb, or basically any ones that have Oak Hill and Grizzly Gulch, the AI players are going to be getting eagles all over the place. So you, for example, you could play Hill to Hill, which is the C tier that has Oak Hill forward and backwards. You may shoot a 14 under and be 1 shot out of the lead because an AI player shot a 15. So you don't usually run into that with, at least I haven't, in this particular update with Coyote Canyon and Kaho, and I haven't really played Kaho Backwoods as much. I forget the name of the tournament. I think it's Autumn Clash, the B tier that has Kaho Backwoods forward and backwards, but it's definitely an advantage for you then. So if you're really looking to gain coins and experience, I really recommend practicing these, because number 1, it's going to be easier to win it, obviously if you do well, but 2, it's really going to build your game, because if you can shoot well, it just made it through. I really like that wide right route on that hole. But if you can learn these courses, if you can throw Coyote and Grizzly and Kaho, and then you go back to Crow's Nest is a breeze, or Blueberry. Obviously Blueberry's an easy one, but Windswept. Although Windswept still gives me problems sometimes. And I know some people, that's get up there. All right, this this is hole 5 of Owlwood. This has not been nice to me. I used to throw a glide skip ballista, a regular ballista, and it was perfect for this hole. And ever since I've upgraded to a glide skip ballista pro, that disc is too far. And a lot of the other discs I'm trying, I haven't practiced it enough to get that consistency. So that's one I got to work on. All right, here. Oh, sneak through. I think I'm in the bushes. And that's one little thing too. If you hit the bushes, you see the leaves pop up, you know you're inside the bushes. So right here, I know that there's not going to be any collision on the... Oh, and there actually was. What the hell was that? Yeah, usually if you're in the bushes and it shows collision, it's not going to do like a double collision. So there must be 2 bushes in there. I haven't really looked at that, but that was a little surprising. All right, so this one, I'm going to throw my Ballista Pro, and I'm not getting hyper aggressive on these. Like that one right there, I could have very easily put some hyzer on that one and try to cut it inside that tree. But right now, I'm just trying to get some experience with these discs, and that was not a good shot. At least give myself a shot at birdie, which I missed there. But if you play it safe, you could even play a Pioneer on this. Wide right and just take an easy par on it. And I know people hear the word par, and it's like their disc golf version of the 4-letter words, but it's only 3. It's like, don't say par. Like they don't ever want to concede a par. It's always birdie or eagle, and anything else is a failure. But in certain instances, you just got to suck it up. All right, and here's Coyote. So that one I threw my accurate windbreak musket and left it a little... Oh, there we go. I left it a little to the right of where I wanted, so it clipped the wall, but... Again, I love anything inside 65 feet. I know I've said that in a lot of my videos, why I putt. So let me think about here. I'm going to throw my Pioneer just because it's a little bit longer. Let's see what that does. Come around the corner. Yeah, that should be good. So I've talked at length, at nauseum, about how I will putt from anything 65 and in. And one of the reasons for that is not necessarily the crosswinds, but I find more consistency in head and tailwinds. And you have to think back to how you play. How often have you played a hole where there's a 3 headwind and you throw it in from 70, and instead of going in, it goes too high? Like, it's so finicky. Like, you got to be really careful how you throw that stuff. And I find that anything inside 65, I can just putt it and not really have to worry about that. All right, so Coyote hole 9, I kind of screwed up the drive, and if I had my light glide or my glide skip Ballista Pro, I might be able to play the weird, huge turnover shot like this. That was actually a pretty good shot. So, oh wow, great skip. Look at that. That was a phenomenal. I sometimes give myself props. That was actually a pretty good shot. So I was able to get that one up there. Yeah, with this bag from that lie, that is a really, really good birdie to get. So I just had the 1 par there, and we're 18 under. And so again, I only shot 9 under, but I'm 4 strokes in the lead. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to win this one as long as I don't butcher anything. And speaking of butchering, what do they throw at me? The freaking albatross hole. So obviously I don't have the skip discs to really go at this one, so I'm going to play the musket forehand out here and just play through the trees. There's a good gap, see, to the left of the 442, so I usually play the forehand musket and play it out wide here. I'd love to have a recoil, but I'm going to go ahead and go Ballista Pro, which might be a little too much. Slow down. Yeah, that was too much. So in a normal scenario with my normal bag, I would throw my recoil. That would be perfect distance. And here I'm kind of out of position, and I messed that one up. So that right there is a good example of how discs do make a difference. And it's not necessarily just for pure distance. It's ones right there for finesse and kind of in-between shots. That's why I know a lot of people will throw 4 or 5 ballistas in their bag or Ballista Pros, and I like to have a variety of mid-ranges for shots like that. So that's why I have, in my normal bag, I have a River, I have an Explorer, I've got 2 muskets, and I've got a recoil, because I think those discs, using forehand and backhand, kind of bridge the gap between my mid-ranges and my drivers better. And some people just prefer powering down faster discs. I do not. I like having full power discs that I can just throw right at it. And this is going to be a tough one with the wind at 3. I got to watch the trees. So that was actually supposed to be left of that tree there. That was a very fortunate route. I know that looked like a good shot, but that was most definitely not where I was aiming. Yeah, so it split those trees. It went right of the one and then left of the other. It was supposed to go left of both of them. All right, this is another hole where we're a wind of 2. I'm going to go ahead and throw the forehand ballista. I don't have my accurate glide musket, and that is way back in the corner. That's going to have to be a throw on. Yeah, that's 74. You got to be careful back here, too, depending on where you are. If you're up against those walls too closely and you don't straddle out, you can definitely clip those, and I've actually clipped those walls and ricocheted all the way down the hill. All right, we're going to go, I don't know what I'm going to go here. I'm going to go, I guess we can go with River, but I've got to be careful because, again, I don't usually throw the accurate glide River, and so this might go a little long. Yeah, see, I'm not comfortable with that shot, so I definitely have to work on it, because my accurate windbreak River, I feel very comfortable just throwing it kind of where I aimed right there, doing it straight back, and it just fades out to the side. All right, then we're back at this one. So again, it's all about those little strokes. Again, this whole Zero to Hero series is all about, can I build a bag that can compete at the highest level? And I think for most people, you have to take away the experience and the shot making and the knowledge I have and just put yourself in the shoes of what discs do I have. See, this is a crappy spot too from 78. Get it? All right. So that was, remember before I was at 66 feet and I had no look at that. That one at 78 was no easy shot, but it was, at least gave me a look at it. But no, take away all the knowledge and the shot making and that stuff. And if you just look at the bag, like, it is really, really hard to compete with this bag consistently over the course of Pro Tour after Pro Tour and multiplayer after multiplayer without having, and that was just that was a really, really, really bad roll away. Let's see if we can salvage. No. That was not a good shot. And I can't even blame this bag because that's the accurate windbreak musket is what I normally throw on this. But again, it's all about the little gaps, like going from the musket to the recoil, or the recoil to the ballistas, is filling all those gaps and making sure that you've got all the shots covered in all the possible winds. All right, 94. So I'm not making any huge mistakes. Let's get it. All right. See, that's one, a newer player with this bag is if they throw that tee shot, they're probably going to miss that throw-in. So you definitely have to tweak things a little bit. All right, so hole 9, I'm going to play this one safe, but I'm really not sure what I want to do. We're going to go Ballista Pro, and hopefully it misses the trees. All right, that's perfect. Now the question is, do I run it? 190. Yeah, I think we're going to go for it. Come on, baby, come on. Oh, no. And that's what happens. I think when I played this round, I'm not going to make excuses. I wasn't sleep deprived. I was not in top form. So that one right there, I missed that by quite a bit. So we're at 26 under, still got the 4-shot lead, but I don't mind missing that, but that was a pretty significant miss. All right, so we start off round 4. Things are going really well. I've got a 4-shot lead. I'm going to play this one kind of out wide. And I throw this one a little different now, where most times I throw this, I will throw the accurate windbreak musket and ace run it. And if you ace it, great. If you miss it, you usually leave yourself like 70 feet. I'm playing a little more conservative with this one. I don't really want to do that. All right, this would normally be an eagle hole, but I don't think I can get into a reasonable range where it would feel comfortable running it. So we're going to try the Ballista Pro. Miss it. Nope. Jeez, that was bad. I might even rethrow. Yeah, we'll just go from here. So 380. Ideally, I'd like to be short and left. So we're going to throw this bad boy high. Forehand. Go. Sit right there. Perfect. That's easy putt. Uphill putts like this on that rock are a little hard to do sometimes. I think I figured out around upwards of 50 feet it gets a little sketchy. You can make it to 52, 53, but anything past that it gets a little sketchy and I'm not comfortable. All right, so this is another one where I would normally throw my Light Glide Ballista Pro, but in this case I'm going to throw the regular Ballista Pro, and I just didn't get it up over there. And that's just because I haven't practiced this hole. Like I shouldn't say never, and it's been ages since I've actually taken that center route. So I have no clue. We're just going to throw this up over the top. Maybe give ourselves a look at a throw-in. That actually might be too far left. No, okay, that actually worked pretty well. That's going to give me a look. But again, from this range, I would throw my river. But now I'm going to have to switch to the Explorer because I think the Glide River is just a little too much. And I have not practiced that shot, and that was pretty bad. That would be, oh boy. I might have to do the around the world. Oh yeah, and this is another one I have not practiced. Yeah, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I know a lot of people are like, man, I can't believe he missed that. I just don't practice that shot. It's just time. Like, I just don't play this as much as I used to, so I don't practice. I didn't practice with this bag that much. I don't really practice those around the world shots. I just don't really use them that often. But there it kind of cost me. But again, we're talking pars. We're not talking bogeys. I think at this stage of the game, as I mentioned earlier in this video, so here, 65 feet, I think I'm gonna throw this one in. I could probably putt that one. That was almost too hard. But 65 is right at that top end. Given the chance again, I would probably putt that one. All right, so this one, I'm just going to play this. I'm going to kind of play it for par. Just throw the accurate windbreak musket. And is that going to give me a look? It is. I just got to be careful with the 3-wind, but we're going to give it a run. All right, sweet. And that's why I like throwing musket on that, because I hit the Mando there. But if you bump up to a recoil or anything faster, you're going to be throwing something that doesn't have the accurate modifier. And if you miss, you are essentially getting a 4. I don't think I've ever hit. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I don't think I've ever hit that shot from that drop zone there. Now, granted, I haven't tried it that often because I try to avoid it by throwing the musket. But All right, 520. There's no chance to get this over that final sand trap, so we're going to lay up, try to get inside 200, 250. So that is not where I wanted to be. Ideally, I wanted to be around 200 so I could go forehand, but not going to happen. So let's see if we can do a little uphill. So that was also, you see, that's why I wanted to get a little closer, because the forehand just doesn't have enough oomph to it. Need a little more juice. All right, let's finish this off. And again, I didn't speed up the video. I hope you guys are enjoying the commentary. A lot of this is just getting in my mind and what I'm thinking. So this one, I've been enjoying the wide right route, cutting it in a little tight. That's perfect. I love that route. And that actually did not work. Wow. And see, I thought that was actually going to be pretty good. I thought it was going to skip, kick off the wall, and that usually doesn't happen like that. So we're definitely going to have to settle for, I mean, I'm going to go for it, but we're going to have to settle for birdie on this one. And I think we're in good shape. Let's check the scoreboard. I haven't really been paying attention. I've got a three shot lead right now. So let's just, this is one I want to keep in bounds. This is, again, yet another hole where I don't have the discs to bridge the gap, but luckily it's a tailwind, so I can throw my accurate windbreak musket and get it up in there. I love hitting the rocks, because once it hits the rocks, it stops, but that rolled. Holy cow. That was really bad. I've had a couple bad breaks like that. So I actually like it when it hits the rocks on the fly, not go up the hill and then roll down. All right. Oh, but so I parred that one, but the guy behind me got a bogey. So now I parred a hole and I increased my lead by 1. How about that? All right, so here with the wind to 3, I love the river, but I'm going to throw my Explorer, let it fade back. And again, my goal is just anything inside 50 and 36, so that is a guaranteed make. All right, so that was the end. We won this one by 4 strokes, so 32 under is pretty solid score with this bag. I was happy with that. And I believe that'll give me enough experience to level up and get some coins. Let's see. Yep. So 200 and 640. Let's see what we got. It's going to be garbage. We know it. And not only was it garbage, it was 3 discs with no modifiers. 2 identical daggers minus the black stamp versus the gold, and a no attribute compass. So absolute trash. That's what we've been talking about. And that wraps up episode 5 of chapter 2. And tune in for episode 6, because we're going to have a little something special. I think we're going to venture out into the world and actually play against real people and see how that goes. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next video.